and this we've described many times, to understand and manifest that these are one of those servants whom Allah hears through His hearing, and He granted a hearing that is eternal, that goes beyond this dunya into malakut for all of eternity. And that their ears, and this we've described many times, that the shaykhs are like a mobile phone just for us to understand. Maybe 50 years ago was difficult to understand, but to think now that there could be a phone linked to anywhere in the world, and if you leave that phone on the desk it could be like a hot mic. The phone could be on, the camera is on, and whatever you say and do in the presence of that phone, it's somebody's on the other receiving side watching. That's the system of submission. Otherwise why Allah wants the servant to submit? Submit your will back to me so that I will be your seeing, so that you look where I want you to look, and when you look I see through your eyes. Now we bring it down because that's too high for people, because that's inherited from the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad, that wherever you look I look through your eyes, whatever you hear through your ears I hear through your ears, and what you speak of my realities I speak through your tongue, and what you touch through your hands means your power, your qudrah, your connection, it's my hands that give you that power. And where you step with your feet, your path means every step that you're moving of those servants, Prophet inspiring with them, my foot on your foot, that the path of haqq and truth upon your feet. So you're inheriting from Qadam as-Siddiq, the truthful servants, and then you are Muqaddam, you are the servants of the path. And all of this, and you have now power of Rabbaniyun, and what you put into your heart becomes kun fayakun, it begins to manifest. So it means that these are mobile phones for the Divine Presence, for the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad and the presence of their awliya, the ones whom are governing them and sending these lights and isharats and guidance and fayaz emanations into their heart. It's their eyes that see the audience that's important, not the shaykh's eyes, but the faculty of his seeing and his spiritual seeing through his soul. They're all privy to that connection. At any time anyone within the heavens of that reality is looking through their eyes, through their spiritual eyes of their soul, is hearing through their spiritual hearing. They hear and see everything. People don't understand that. These microphones and mobile phones, they never turn off. There's never a time in which Prophet is not hearing through their ears. Wish they to turn off, not turn off, like they're finding now with Apple phones, it never goes off. Even when you think you powered off, it's still locating you. It has an inner battery that's operating. Why Allah is showing all these things in these technologies? Because the material world, they want to track your every movement. That movement is power, that knowledge is power. Your buying habits, movement habits, shopping habits, what you eat, what your sickness is, what's your medicine, what's your rizq, what do you buy, what do you sell, everything about you is a commodity. But for the heavens Allah is showing, if they're doing this for this material world that is not the weight of a mosquito for Allah saying, you're more precious to me. There's not a movement that you do that I don't hear it, I don't see it, we don't witness it. And it's your responsibility to come to the turuqs to understand it. And when you understand it, you govern yourself accordingly. They hear, not the shaykh, he doesn't need to hear anything, but the faculty of his hearing through his soul, they hear through him. His spiritual firasa, they see through him, and when they find it necessary, they speak through him. When they want his hands to be active and to be connected, they feel through him, they touch him, they put yadullah upon them, and their qadam and their path wherever it goes becomes blessed by them. So it means that this is a huge reality. And in such a material world where as we become more and more material and more towards the end, that understanding is completely lost. And that's why we said in the last days awliya will be hidden. And many times people have asked, well, they're all going to be lifted from the earth. He said, no, the bad character of people won't see them anymore, won't hear them, nah, don't hear what he says, won't see him, I don't see you as anything. As a result they become blinded by that reality. But it doesn't mean that they don't walk the earth, they walk the earth. They're a microphone for the heavens, they're a camera for the heavens. What people say and do, they're witnessing and ever present by their personalities and by their presence amongst the people. That's their blessing and their curse. For if you should act improperly in that presence and in those associations, it's witness. Why is a sin in Mecca, why is it called Haramain? But they say if you do a sin in Mecca it's multiplied by 1,000,000 times. Why is that? If you do a sin at home it's 10, but if you do the sin in Mecca it's 1,000,000. So it's called Haramain, no haram here, because it's a warning that in this holy precincts there are many souls, there's a Divinely Presence. If you plan on doing that in this precinct, the retribution and difficulty is severe. So then people of faith, they govern themselves accordingly. And that's why Allah is teaching, don't make hajj until you're in good character, in good manners. Imagine the person want to go for hajj and do every type of forbidden and pickpocket and touch people and be inappropriate. Everything is now a million times on their sayyat. And Allah's warning us, don't do your hajj at that time. Means go for this reality when you are present and ready, when you have purified and cleansed yourself and you know that what you're going to go and get into. When you know that what you're about to enter into, then definitely your aql and mind should tell you, this is not the place to sin, but this is the place to receive immense blessings. And we said that the Kaaba is a house of stone. What about the house in which Allah built with the heart of these awliya? That Allah said, I built them, I blew into them of my nafas and my breath, and that they are the living representation of that reality. Wherever they walk, they are a Kaaba and a Qibla. Means people will find their deen around them, they circumambulate around them, means they keep the presence, because circumambulation we described in other talks is not a worshipness, but it's for you when you circumambulate is to keep your mind on Allah and keep saying, labbaik Allahumma ya Rabbi, I'm coming, I'm imitating walking in your presence to remember my life is to submit. And when people come to the shaykhs and watch the videos, it's like their being is circumambulating around that reality, that you remind me of the truth, you remind me of Allah, you remind me definitely of the love and ishq of Sayyidina Muhammad, and I keep you in my life, I watch the videos, read the articles, and that's the reality. And that the Qibla means I find my focus towards Allah, because when you bow down to Kaaba you shouldn't be worshipping the Kaaba. Kaaba is merely a direction in which to direct yourself to the oneness of Allah.